The Heritage Exchange podcast has come to stay, and trust me, you'll be learning a whole lot about different countries in Africa. Because imagine we have 54 countries in Africa, and you'll be learning a whole lot from Ghana to Cameroon to Sierra Leone to Zimbabwe to Zambia, and mention them. So sit back, enjoy this series, and trust me, you will learn a whole lot. When a language fades, a world disappears, and when stories meet, culture grows. Welcome to the Heritage Exchange podcast, where voices meet, traditions speak, and the world listen. It's still your girl Chiamaka Global, and we are back from our short break. So, the Heritage Exchange podcast is designed to help individuals to know more about a particular country or countries in Africa, help them understand their do's and don'ts, their historical backgrounds, and the cultures they exhibit or the practice. So in this particular series, we'll be looking at the beautiful country of Kenya, and as we all know how Kenya is also a part of a country in Africa, and we'll be learning more about the country. We'll be going on a short break, and when we come back, I'll be introducing who our speaker is, and you'll learn from her. The Heritage Exchange podcast has come to stay, and trust me, you'll be learning a whole lot about different countries in Africa. Because imagine we have 54 countries in Africa, and you'll be learning a whole lot from Ghana to Cameroon to Sierra Leone to Zimbabwe to Zambia, and mention them. So sit back, enjoy this series, and trust me, you will learn a whole lot. Welcome back from that short break. In this episode, we'll be looking at a very profound speaker from Kenya. Her name is Ruth Kimani. She's a science communicator, a certified coach, and a storyteller. And in this episode, she'll be throwing more light on what you need to know about her country, Kenya, the do's and don'ts, the historical background, and everything you need to know. So sit back, relax, take a pen and paper, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'll see you soon.
Hello, and welcome to the Heritage Cultural Exchange podcast. My name is Ruth Kimani from Kenya, and I am elated to share the different Kenyan cultures. And I will group this into 4 regions. We'll focus on the central region, the coastal region, the lake region, and the northern region. We will learn more about different Kenyan cultures. In these different regions, I must highlight that Kenya is home to more than 42 tribes, I think 43 tribes now. And we are a big country with over 50 million residents. Yeah. So we will be grouping this into the 4 regions because we might not have, the privilege to actually focus on the 43 tribes. But we will see the different regions and the different tribes that are home to the different regions that will be highlighted. So for our start today, we will look at the central region, also known as the Mount Kenya region. And the Mount Kenya region is actually communities that are based around the Mount Kenya region, just as the name suggests. So let's begin with the central region in Kenya. It is a region that sits in the shadow of Mount Kenya, and Mount Kenya is the country's highest peak and a sacred symbol to the communities who live around it. This region is home to the Kikuyu, the Meru, Embu communities, and these communities share ancestry, language, roots, and deep connection to the land. There is a powerful belief in this region that no matter how long the night, dawn will always come. It's not just a saying, it's a mindset, which is a reflection of the resilience, patience, hope, and long-term thinking that is integrated in these communities. When you step into central Kenya, one thing becomes clear. This region is built on structure and productivity, and agriculture is at the heart of this region. I am actually from this region, so I might probably reflect, you might hear me reflect and say we, because I'm from this region. So in the central region, I have highlighted that agriculture is the heart of life in this region, with farmers farming tea, coffee, bananas, maize, Other cereals and also some dairy farming dominates this region. And food reflects an agricultural identity with meals like githeri, which is a combination of boiled beans and maize, irio, and mokimo. And mokimo is actually a combination of beans, boiled beans, maize, mashed together with green vegetables and potatoes, which is a delicacy and a staple food in this region. This food is also like cultural anchors for these communities in the Kikuyu, the Embu, and the Meru households. So, looking at this central region and looking at the similarities in the central regions, these three communities value family, lineage, and marriage traditions. And Dowry ceremonies are widely and highly practiced and emphasized in this region. And the Dowry practices, or rather the Dowry ceremonies, are commonly referred to as rurashio. But the execution of this Dowry ceremonies differs amongst the different communities, because when you look at the Kikuyu, they tend to be highly structured and almost procedural dowry negotiations, while among the Meru, they incorporate more song, dance, and symbolic rituals. The Embu sits somewhere between, blending the structure with cultural expression. Language also reflects both unity and diversity. The Kikuyu, Kiembu, and Kimeru are mutually related, but a little bit distinct. Yet most people actually switch comfortably between their local language, which is Swahili and English. And I must also highlight that most Kenyans are multilingual, whereby we are able to speak both our cultural language, or rather traditional language, with Swahili and English. So when you look at these communities, the three communities trace their origins to the slopes of Mount Kenya, which is regarded as the dwelling place of God. And land among these communities is more of an economic asset, because it is referred to as sacred, spiritual, and deeply tied to identity. During the colonial, rule, the large portions of fertile land were taken, and this triggered the resistance, which is commonly referred to as the Mau Mau uprising, largely associated with the Kikuyu, which became most of the defining struggles of the Kenyan independence, with support from the neighboring communities like the Embu and the Meru. One key difference of the time is that you will experience that the Kikuyu tribe transitions into earlier intensive cash crop farming and large-scale entrepreneurship, while the Embu and Meru communities maintain larger, stronger balance between the traditional practices and modernization for longer. So just a few fun facts as we wrap this up for this session. One thing that unites the central Kenya region is that its reputation in business and entrepreneurship. And there's a common belief that if you want to learn business, watch someone from central Kenya. And the education is also another shared value amongst these communities, where families get to highly invest in schooling and view it as a pathway to success. So some differences in personalities in the different cultures are as follows. The Kikuyu culture is more often described as highly structured and ambitious. The Meru culture is more socially expressive and relaxed. The Embu culture tends to largely balance between the two, the structure and the expressiveness. And another fun insight is the concept of hustle, which is deeply embedded in these communities. You'll hear phrases like "we are on business," "there are no excuses," which actually reflects on the mindset of these communities, showing ambition, survival, and resilience. So while these communities share their roots and making the central region a fascinating place to be, one thing you will see amongst the central region communities is how discipline, adaptability, and identity evolve differently within the same cultural ecosystem. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today's session. Welcome to Kenya, and make sure you visit the central region. Next time, we will look at the lake region. Stay tuned.
Thank you for staying with us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. I'll see you in the next video. The Heritage Exchange podcast has come to stay, and trust me, you'll be learning a whole lot about different countries in Africa. Because imagine we have 54 countries in Africa, and you'll be learning a whole lot from Ghana to Cameroon to Sierra Leone to Zimbabwe to Zambia, and mention them. So sit back, enjoy this series, and trust me, you will learn a whole lot.